All right, hello everybody. How are we today? I imagine some of y'all have seen the Skullgirls video. Thanks for all the love on that. It's always appreciated. Oh yeah, hello. So today, this is a little bit more of an unprompted stream. I just had some extra time and I was like, why not? So, this is going to be just a general discussion of FGC nonsense today that has been, like, sent to me or I've encountered. Um, so yeah, that's kind of just what we're doing today. It's nothing too wild. It's probably gonna be like a shorter stream, like hour, maybe two, if we really go that far. But yeah, so let's get into things. So you'll notice from some of the names in the title, we have a lot to talk about today, and one of our topics is being revisited. Actually, um, I thought about just like not talking about this at all, and then I heard that apparently this new fate situation is like somehow worse than the one that happened that I called him out for, where it got like a lot of traction. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of this, honestly. Cause I'm like, if it's worse than the AI nonsense, like actually what is it? Yeah, so we're gonna go over that, and then we're gonna talk about the whole them's fighting herds, like Nidra stuff, because if anyone watched the video, you will notice that I threw that in there and kind of offhandedly mentioned that Nidra got delayed, except that was added in like an hour before the video went up, and then I had to post it. So I was like, well, maybe I should elaborate on that before part two comes out. I also have some stuff to show for part two and the channel in general, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, let's get into all of this. All right, so probably should switch scenes here. So we'll get into the fate nonsense first because I already have it pulled up, and then we'll talk about everything else because I feel like that's gonna be most of this stream because the video that was sent to me, it was like 21 minutes. So yeah, we'll go for it, see what happens. Oh, maybe switching my stream would be very beneficial. Okay, can we see it? I think we could see it. All right, got it up. We're ready to go. All right, let's watch this. Oh god, I am nervous because it's supposedly worse. Hopefully the audio's okay.
Right. So, the combat kids got the combat cops. You know. Anyway. Right.
Oh, I don't think you guys can see the title, but the title is "Oh God, Here We Go: Mortal Kombat 1 about to be a police state." Okay. I don't know what's gonna be implied. Okay, let's just watch.
Now, I don't blame Losty for the way that she reacts to this sort of stuff because, quite frankly, it's no surprise that some people are just severely indoctrinated by, this whole narrative that, like, words are literally violence, blah, blah, blah. But I'm a Gen Xer, so, like, I grew up basically not giving a crap.
Okay, I feel like everything that was just said is probably gonna loop back later, but Fate saying that he is Gen X, so he cares a little bit less about words. I don't know how good the audio is on this because OBS really does not like my desktop audio. But yeah, I'm already a little concerned.
Right? Because I grew up with the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never. But names will never hurt me." Okay. And right, while words can hurt you, and it is true whether you like it or not. Offense. Fixing my
Also, real quick, let's go ahead and read the tweet that Losty quote retweeted, because this is, I think, the whole point of this video. So, in the tweet, I Am Cruella says, "Why is there still no mute or report system in this game? Why are bullies getting a free pass meanwhile they are calling out homophobic and transphobic and racist slurs?" And then added quite a few people on the NRS team. And then Losty said, "So how do we get rid of these incels on the game who've never touched grass since we still don't have a reporting system in 2023? Not very welcoming for everyone, especially for marginalized communities." Okay. So, yeah, anytime Fate intersects with commentary on marginalized people, I always get a little uneasy. I don't know what he's gonna say. Let's go.
Offense is taken, not given. Right? Because one thing might be offensive to someone else, but not to someone else, right? So apparently, there was a couple of matches where people were saying like phobic slurs. You know, people always go to ask, you know, if you say this phobic thing, you're hateful. It's like, why do you think it's hateful? Does anyone read the dictionary anymore?
Okay, minute 38 seconds, and we already have some bad takes. So, Fate, do you read a dictionary? Do you, by chance, know the definition of various homophobic slurs that are used against LGBTQ people? Like, do you, by chance, know what those words mean, and how they are used, and the effect they have on people? Or are we just gonna gloss over that? Oh, wow, here we go.
Because before it got changed so it could suit narratives, might add.
The dictionary gets changed because vernacular changes over time. It's not based off of agendas. like, for example, the word gay does have a dual meaning based on the time frame you're looking at. In the 1800s, it was used as more of a synonym for happy, whereas now it's used to describe people who are homosexual. It changes based off of how vernacular is used, not based off of agendas. What is that?
Phobic has two meanings. Literally, it means, and I mean true meanings. I don't mean made up, Tumblr meanings. One, that you're deathly afraid of something, like I am spiders. Two, that you have an aversion to something.
Yes. Okay, so to gather the thoughts there, are you saying that homophobia does not fall under the latter definition, which is an aversion to something? Like, using homophobic slurs that, like, in a hateful way can make you perceived as homophobic. And the definition of homophobia is either a fear or aversion to gay people. Sometimes I wonder if streamers hear themselves think. Like, this is why I do more scripted content most of the time, unless it's longer. Because, I don't know, like, how do you even come to these conclusions? I swear.
Meaning that you have this massive distaste for it. That does not equal hate.
Okay. Sure, they may not equal the same thing, distaste versus hate, but they are synonyms to each other.
Okay? It's just simply an aversion. That's it. Okay? So, anyway. So, this person goes, why is there still no mute or report system in the game? What are you reporting? Like, this is, okay, so I've played some MK1 online, right? This is the first time I've actually had the microphone not only on, but also hearing them. I never heard this crap in MK11.
What are you reporting? Maybe the slurs that people are yelling in game? I don't know, man. Are you saying because, like, people want a report system in, like, 1v1 fighting games, that it's, like, a bad thing? Because, like, most large multiplayer games have those, like, immediately, because they know the implications of harboring toxicity. Like, why shouldn't that be a thing? Like, especially with the argument being presented of not having people be homophobic, transphobic, and racist. Why is that the stance to take?
Never heard an MK10, and I certainly didn't hear an MK9. Either I was lucky and I remembered when I first went through all the settings to just turn all that stuff off, or it just wasn't there. I don't know, actually, but I never heard a single person. Thankfully, because I don't want to hear people yabber on or have them hear me when I'm playing a fighting game. When I'm playing a fighting game, I'm just in zone mode, right? All I want to hear is the game, the sound effects. I don't hear some clapper going on in my head, right?
Actually, that's why I never turn on mic, is because I am, like, so heavily in the zone when I play most of the time. So, I understand that for sure.
This whole reporting system stuff, this is tyrannical shit.
No? What? Calling out people for using homophobic slurs is tyrannical now? Oh my god, I need a latte sip after that one. Oh my god, wow. That's a wild take to have, I'm sorry.
Right, I don't agree with it. Because there are tools in place and the options to mute your microphone and mute their microphone. If you refuse to take these options into account, who's at fault here? You cannot police the world.
So, here's the thing. Most games, yes you can. Yes, you absolutely can. League of Legends does it. I'm pretty sure Overwatch does it. Valorant does it. Most large-scale multiplayer games absolutely do this. And you said that there's you could just mute them. This tweet might be wrong, but they said, why is there still no mute or report system? So I'd have to look into that. Yeah, I would have to go look and see if MK1 has mute functions for people other than yourself. Because I know MK11 definitely had that. So that could just be a quality of life thing that they need to implement, which there are several. MK1's quality of life is just not very good right now. Hopefully they update it. Like, pinning moves, that was so useful. Like, I wish they brought that back. And same with, like, the muting system, if this is actually accurate.
You cannot control what people think. You cannot control what people say. It is a fighting game.
Yes, you can't control what people say, but you can absolutely control... How do I phrase this? Okay. You can't control what people say. That is true. What you can control is what you're hearing, and you can control your reaction to it. And if your reaction is to report them for using vile language that's directed towards you, that is fair. Like, I've had to report several people for being homophobic to me. Like, people call me slurs in my comments all the time. I just report it. Having this in fighting games where it's a one-on-one experience and you have no teammates to back you up, like, that can absolutely be something of concern. And it's not like MK's community is, like, lower on the toxic scale. They're one of the most toxic FGC fandoms ever. They probably need this more than everyone else, to be fair. Like, maybe Tekken's a little up there too, but, like, MK probably needs this the most.
This game doesn't exactly promote the healthiest of fighting styles, because the game is so heavily broken and geared to the fact that 99% of the gameplay is designed in an aggressive manner, meaning that you have extremely small amounts of defensive options available to you, unless you're so good at defense that you can literally memorize and block all the high and low combos that come through with every 24 fighter.
Being bad at a game doesn't justify homophobia? Like, what? I mean, that's such an odd take. Also, okay, Fate has made, like, when I was looking for this video, I saw he's made, like, a crap ton of videos dragging Mortal Kombat 1's gameplay. Which, like, I have a video script in the works about Mortal Kombat's, like, recency, like, anti-recency bias, I guess. I don't know what the word for that is. But basically, Mortal Kombat has this specific problem with not knowing how to deal with, new game mechanics and new games in general. Because, like, when MK9 came out, everybody was missing the playstyle of Armageddon because it was too fast. MKX came out, everybody liked MK9's roster better, and the gameplay was worse somehow. MK11, we liked MKX better. Like, where's all the different variations? We only have 2. And, like, where's all the new characters? MK1 comes around, like, oh, this roster has too many, like, old faces. We want some of the newer people. MK11 was so much better. I have never seen so much love for MK11 until September 19th, 2023. It's so wild. Like, just give it some time. Like, the game has been fully out for, like, a week. Give it a sec. Like, the quality of life definitely could have been better. There are some mechanics, like, chip damage. Like, I mean Baraka. His chip damage, I will admit, is absolutely wild. Like, he was doing, like, 200 chip damage in my combo that I was doing. The combo normally does, like, 450. Like, it's wild. And people are dragging the cameo system because they're like, oh, it's such a hassle. It's a hassle to click a button. Like, I feel like the cameos are actually one of the easier mechanics of MK1. Like, I think the hardest part is actually learning all the jump combos in comparison to your ground combos. Because you're basically, you have 2 different movesets based off of your position on the y-axis. It's kind of wild. And don't get me started on learning Shang Tsung. That man has like 17 movesets.
Okay. Mortal Kombat under NRS, except for MK9, because that was like the last of the games before NRS was really pushing MK after that.
MK9 was, I thought MK9 was fully produced by NRS because Midway went under.
Along with Injustice. These games promote this sort of gameplay. It enrages people because it's unfair.
No. It's funny because the game has been progressively getting slower, actually. MKX was slightly slower than MK9. MK11 was described as floaty by most people. And then you also saw it when people were playing the game at EVO. A lot of people were tweeting about it, where MK1 was MK9 levels of fast. The game isn't moving in a slower direction. People just aren't used to the MK9 playstyle because it hasn't been the meta for a decade.
Because nobody wants to be held up in the air for like a 40 to 50% combo, when if you do not have your combo breaker, don't have your cameo, you're screwed.
Yeah, okay. Oh no, how dare I be conscious of my meter. It's the same shit with MK9. You're never gonna fully blast X-rays in competitive play. It's the same with combo breakers. You're not always gonna be able to stop shit.
It is enrage-inducing. I myself have burnt more hair follicles because of it.
Okay, but once again, rage-inducing gameplay isn't an excuse for using slurs in chat.
Some people say things. Yes, some of those things are crap. It's not up to me to judge. Those people will be judged by God. It's as simple as that. Right?
I'm not gonna touch that, because it's not my place to. Yeah, we'll just move on, because I'm not gonna touch people's theology.
But you cannot police people, because once you start going down that road, then you start telling people how they should behave, how they should think. You aren't my mother, I'm not your father.
Fate, I would like to pose a question then. Would you do this in a one-on-one environment on a grand stage like EVO or Combo Breaker? Would you say those things then? Or if you were in a professional environment, would you call people homophobic slurs over rage-inducing things? You wouldn't. Like, keep it consistent.
It's as simple as that. Right? You don't know whether this person had a bad day. You don't know anything. There's a story I remember.
Bad days are not excuses for homophobia. What?
Reading that. It was a real story. It was a biography this guy wrote. And he was on a train going home, after work, and there was his father down the end of the carriage with his kids running around screaming, yelling, completely, uncontrolled. Anyway, so this guy had enough. He got up and went to the father. He said, look, come on, man. Your kids are disturbing everyone. The father looks up and goes, I'm so sorry. Just came back from the hospital. Their mother just passed away. Never know. Never, ever know what's going on. Imagine.
That is true. You don't know what people are going through. That is true. But still, having a bad day does not mean you use slurs, because that just drags people down. and it's homophobic, and in some cases racist, like the one Losty was showing. Like, there's not many excuses that you can really think of that justify homophobia. There's really not many.
You decide to punish this person. You get them banned from the game that they have been saving up to play. And
I don't think it should be an instant ban. Like, things slip, that is for sure. Or, I know gay people who use the F slur frequently. I do not, but I know people who do. I think it should just be more of a warning than anything, and you don't have to report it if you don't find it personally wrong. But for the people who it actually does hurt, they have the option to report it. Maybe it's just like, you can't use mic anymore, but I don't think it would constitute an actual online ban. Because League absolutely had to implement ban systems because of the fact that their chats were getting so out of control, and the game relies on multiplayer experiences. Mortal Kombat, you have yourself and yourself to blame for your problems when it comes to that game. So it really just depends.
and just because they have a slip of the tongue, or this is just how they vent, or maybe they're going through a hard time in life, you then take something further away from them. This is the reason why we have mute and block systems in place to prevent from hearing this stuff or seeing this stuff.
But as the tweet mentioned, there isn't one. And you're saying there shouldn't be one. So if you agree that there should be a mute and block system, which I also think is a good idea, then why are you saying that it's justified for people to use hate speech in chats? That makes no sense.
This is how grown adults used to deal with the internet before social media turned everyone into the biggest gigantic pussy and the biggest currency hoarders of victimhood you can imagine. Because that's all it is. Right?
There are absolutely people who weaponize their identities whenever they do something wrong. That is a thing I have seen before. But if you're using slurs in games, you probably should be muted.
She replies to my comment where I said it's called mute, it's in audio options. She goes, should be also available in the match itself like many other games.
That's not a bad idea, honestly. Like, you just hit pause, and you hit mute opponent, confirm. That's not a bad idea. That's really not a bad idea.
Yeah, true. However, they have to do it in a way that makes it so that it's a lot easier to, do. Simply pressing start, going in to then mute the person is hard, because as soon as you pause, right, the game isn't paused. Like, they can just start wailing on you, right?
That is actually true. I kind of wish what they would do is, if you're loading into the game, I think it would be useful if you could hit the... What is it? It's the opposite of the start key, and I do not remember what it is. It's the one on Xbox with the two boxes. If you could hit that, and then, it has a little back menu, and it has, mute, block, report, player volume. That'd be great. That'd be an awesome quality of life thing to do. So that way, when you're loading into the match and, the whole intro's going down, you're able to deal with that, because there is that little lull of time.
So there has to be something in place where, press down on the left stick or the right stick, you can instantly mute them. Right? If they start going off, instantly mute them.
Yeah, I agree with that. But this is where I'm getting really confused with Fate's argument, because it's you're saying that this is a good thing, that you should be able to mute people and be able to block players, but you're also saying that that shouldn't be a thing and people are just playing victim. Which is it?
I don't agree with reporting people. If somebody comes online and says, if they threaten me, as in serial harm, right, that's different.
You know, people do that while using slurs, right? That's a thing. I've dealt with it in my comment section, I've dealt with it in multiplayer games. It is a thing in more than just, fighting games. That is threatening violence, and that is something you can report people for in other games. It's really not that wild of a concept.
I had a guy find all my family information and everything a long time ago, all because I was on a PlayStation forum and I said I didn't like Xbox. He found pictures of my kids, he found pictures of my But he found pictures of where I was living and.
Oh yeah, that's not okay. Oh my god. Like, that is awful. Genuinely. I am so sorry that happened. Like, that is something that should absolutely be a bannable offense, though. Like, this person doxed you.
My phone number, and he plastered it everywhere where I had registered to. Eventually, I contacted the United States because what he was doing was actually considered a federal crime because he's harassing and threatening people outside of the United States. At least that's what they told me at the time. Anyway, so they looked into it, and then we had other people actually track down the vicinity of where he lived. I did a video on YouTube about it, and thanks to all the people that helped me, he completely disappeared because he realized probably that, hey, the troll's gone too far, bro. Right?
Yeah, like, that should absolutely be a bannable thing because that's federal crimes.
But when you start posting pictures of where you live, that's slightly different than having someone use the F word at you.
It is still harassment. It's definitely not as bad as doxing someone. But it's still harassment. Like, it depends on who you're saying it to and how you say it. Like, that's absolutely something that could be a problem. Like, if you call somebody an asshole, like, oh, you asshole, like, just playing around versus, like, actually going after someone, like, those are two different things. So, I don't understand what your stance is here.
Yes, there are marginalized groups out there, as Losty points out. But if I go to China, I'm a marginalized person in their country. So let's not get it twisted. America doesn't, they're not the world police, alright?
They are not. Don't get me wrong. We are not.
Everyone can be marginalized somewhere in this world, okay? And since gaming is global, what one country thinks is okay, another isn't. Who's to say you're right?
You know regions exist for game servers, right? And they have different rules based off of where you are. That is a thing. That is absolutely a thing. I mean, Dragon Ball FighterZ has different regions. I know games like League have different regions, Valorant, Overwatch. I don't remember if Mortal Kombat does have different regions. It would make sense if they did, because it is a very popular game. So the rules can fluctuate based off of your server location. That is something that happens. So you're correct. America isn't the arbiter here. But the regions certainly are.
What, just because you think you are? Just because everyone says that they think you are, right?
Also, something that I didn't mention is I'm also like 90% sure that in like the EULAs for games, I'm pretty sure there's an agreement about harassing people. I could be wrong, because that could be in a privacy policy, or not there at all, but I'm pretty sure when you agree to the EULA in terms of terms of service, similar to social media, you can't go after and harass people or like use hate speech against them because it's a reportable offense.
I mean, no offense, but let's be honest. Unless you're somebody that looks like me, everyone else is protected by
No? What?
the media, the government, and the forces. It's as simple as that.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's some intense doublethink we got going on. So, you are oppressed because you are not allowed to use slurs in voice chat. Wild take. Like, okay. I am giving Casper the Friendly Ghost. Like, I am very pale. If I use the N-word, that's a reportable offense. But I am also gay. If somebody uses the F-slur towards me in a hateful way, that's something that I take offense to and would probably try to get somebody reported for that. Okay. All I'm hearing from this is, I'm so oppressed because I can't say hate speech in game lobbies. So wild.
Alright, so let's not get it twisted that somehow the entirety of society is clamoring down on these poor people. No. They are propped up, they are idolized, they are pushed in places in this society that they should not be at.
No! What? they're not always propped up. Like, if I go to certain countries, I can be jailed for being gay. That is not universal. Like, racism is still very much a thing in my own country. Like, they're not always propped up. They're not always given protection. And in video games, most of the time, they are private companies. They're able to make rules as they determine them. Like, again, this just goes back to basically Fate just saying, I'm so oppressed because I can't say hate speech in, like, VC. That's so wild.
And I can't really get into that. But, you know, that's a whole other conversation, right? And it's freedom of speech. Talk S back, you can report people and silence them that way, but at the end of the day, the world will never be the way you want it to be. She replies, freedom of speech equals hate speech. Are you stupid? So you just insulted someone.
Calling somebody stupid and using slurs are vastly different things.
Right? Oh, so they didn't use a slur. So somehow what you said to them was somehow less offensive?
I mean, it's not the nicest, sure. But they're not using slurs.
How do you know that they weren't abused as a kid?
Okay. Alright. That's just a wild take. We went from 0 to 60 so fast. Continue.
And they were told they were stupid all the time. My best friend, right? Shout out to Cole. My best friend, who I've known since grade 2, right? So we've been friends for a very long time. You know, over 40 years. He's got Asperger's. He grew up in a house and went to school where he was called stupid all the time. That's a sensitive word for him. Someone might call him the F word and he won't even care. He won't even blink.
I think that's just more something that you communicate with people through conversation. Like, sure, Losty wasn't the nicest here, but she might not know what this person has been through, and you're giving what-ifs as if there's something that they should already be aware of. Like, for example, when other gay people call me the F-slur, I'm deeply uncomfortable with it. So I say, hey, can you just not use that around me? It makes me deeply uncomfortable, and I'd prefer if you didn't do that. And most people respect that. They just say, oh, okay, I didn't know. Thanks for telling me. And I'm like, no problem. And then we continue on. It's the same with, like, people's identities and genders. Asking their pronouns takes, like, 5 seconds, and you just use them. That's really it. Like, it's just communication. It's understanding one another. Giving what-ifs as if they're supposed to immediately hold weight when there's no establishing boundary there, that's not gonna help. That just promotes an argument.
Call him stupid and upsetting. So how do you know what you're saying right here isn't offensive to someone else?
Like, all they have to do is just comment under Losty and say, like, hey, that's something that, like, is deeply hurtful to me. I'd appreciate if you didn't use that. And then if Losty was still using it, which I've had people do that to me after I told them, hey, don't call me the F-slur, even if you're gay. Please don't. I'm uncomfortable with it. Like, you cut them off. That's all you do. Gone. I've done it to people. Like, if they don't respect you, then don't interact. Like, that's fine. All this person has to do is just tell them.
How do you know that?
Once again, you just talk.
Right? You don't. That's why you've got to be really careful about how you put yourself across, right? If it's either all in or it's none of it. It's as simple as that.
I feel like that's the iDubbbz argument from, like, back in 2016, 2017, when Tanamojo was using the N-word, and he said either all slurs are okay or none of them are okay. Personally, I think none of them are okay. That's just me, though.
Right? She goes on about wanting to punish people and all this sort of crap. Where was it? Somewhere along here. This guy's got a great point. There actually should be a reporting system in place. Yes, only if they're threatening violence, like actually threatening you harm. That said, not using the in-game chat is an option. That's right. That's it. That's 100% right.
Yeah, that's true. You can absolutely just mute people and move on. That's absolutely a choice. But if people are, like, actually threatening you, you should be able to do something about it.
Nobody is forcing you to play these games. Nobody is forcing you to play these games online.
But weren't you just complaining that somebody shouldn't be banned because they say slurs in chat because they spent money on a game? That's some weird logic, honestly. If you're saying, like, let's rewind this, just we have this.
That's it. That's 100% right. Nobody is forcing you to play these games.
So no one is forcing you to play them, and also you should let people play them because they bought it, and there shouldn't be consequences for when they use hate speech.
Nobody
So wild.
is forcing you to play these games online, and nobody is forcing you to put the microphone on or have yourself listen to what they're saying. Okay? The fact is that you yourself were upset because, what, a couple of weeks ago, some Stan account was losing their minds and you called it out? Well, no offense, but you, along with a whole bunch of other shills and people that sit there and try and either police people or tell people how they should be.
Is this about MK Confessions? Can I talk about this? Okay. I think they're referencing MK Confessions, and I do not like them. So fun fact, if you don't know MK Confessions, they're very similar to Fate. They've actually shouted out Fate before on Twitter. And the whole thing with MK Confessions is they're very similar to Fate in how they address situations, but they're a lot more talkative on Twitter than Fate is, I think. I can probably pull some of these up, actually, of, like, responses I've given to them. I don't think they said anything back to me. But basically, they made some really, really wild takes about MK1. Like, okay, I'm pulling it up. Yeah, so any criticism that we say towards MK1 is because we suck on online. Y'all can't even properly defend the game because y'all know it's true. And I don't know if I quote retweeted that or just commented on it. I said, no, there's valid praise and criticism to the game. The roster's brilliant, the combos are amazing, the gameplay is electric, etc. There's plenty to criticize, but it's not black and white. Give better arguments and maybe people will listen. Because this person is very much like Fate. They automatically assume the worst and then go after MK1 with no level of nuance, providing different levels of critique in different areas. They just immediately try to discount the game as much as possible. And they also, like, had another take where they were talking about how, oh, MK doesn't cater to casuals anymore, when they absolutely do. They absolutely cater to casuals, or the game wouldn't be as popular as it is. And they also have to cater to competitive players because MK's competitive scene is very large. They have to find an equilibrium balance, so people are like, oh wow, I can't, like, use my combo breaker every 5 seconds. They're not catering to us. Like, I'm so sorry you had to put effort into a video game. Like, I don't know what else to really say to these people other than it's not that deep, and maybe just try putting some effort in, you'll love the results. Like, Invasions is literally for that. Like, honing your skills against different enemies. It's a really good way of growing and learning different things with different characters. And it actually rewards you with a lot of skins. Like, it's really not that deep.
Or everything has to be loving, inclusive, and whatever. When you start talking like that, what you're really saying is that you can be inclusive as long as you do exactly what we say you should do.
No, we're saying just don't use slurs. I don't think it's that complicated to just not use slurs in online chat.
That's not inclusive. Inclusive is actually allowing people to be whoever they want to be.
That is true, but why would we want bigots to be bigots? That's kind of weird.
It is better to identify the crazies and stay away from them than to silence them and have them go crazier, right? You suppress people and they will go nuts, right? It is actually counterproductive.
So it can instigate arguments, that is true. But that's why muting and blocking should be a prevalent feature in this game. I would have to check if muting on both sides is allowed. I imagine it is. I would find it very, very hard to believe that this game does not have a mute function. But I don't think it has a report or block function. which I think should be a thing.
Right? Just beat them and go on about your day. No big deal. It's how MK Online always has been. Times have changed. No, it's not time to change. Right? You don't get to decide that. This is a slippery slope. Let's say you get what you want and they can get banned for saying slurs. What's going to stop NRS from eventually banning someone for teabagging or saying something like you suck at this game?
Yeah, but that's not using slurs, which is the whole point of this argument. Like, saying, oh, you suck. I mean, Shao Kahn does that, like, as a move. Like, he does that for fun. Like, that's an actual command in the game. They would never go that far, but protecting your fan base from racism and homophobic slurs, like, that's a pretty valid argument to make. Instead of, like, letting bigots be bigots.
Right? That's the point. The slippery slope exists, and it's that way for a reason, because it can just get worse and worse and worse and worse. Are you gonna call out people denigrating white people? Or people that are straight? If there's some...
I mean, they shouldn't. They absolutely shouldn't. Like, degrading anyone based off of things they can't control isn't something you should do, but making fun of people who are bigoted because they are bigoted is fully different. Like, I'm never someone who would make fun of somebody for their race, or their gender, sexuality, creed, anything like that. That's not something I would ever do. It's based on a merit of character, for me. Like, I'll clown somebody for being an asshole or being a bigot. I will never clown somebody for things they can't control. And Fate is saying to let people run amok doing that very thing. That's not a good look.
Some gay person giving me lip? Giving me crap?
Now play along, chat. Play along, chat. If a gay person is giving you crap, what should you do? What should you do? Let's play along. Let's play along. Is it A, move on? B, talk a little bit of trash back that doesn't have to do with anything relating to their sexuality? Or 3, call them slurs? Take your pick. Take your pick.
Call me a cracker and stuff like that? Are you gonna say something?
Oh, they absolutely shouldn't. Don't get me wrong.
Or is it only a matter for marginalised groups? Well, I tell you what, marginalised groups is a load of shit. Anyone should not be attacked for things that are in or out of their control, right?
In control, that's different. Out of control, yeah, don't. Like, that's not... If there's things that they can't control, don't. If it's things they can't control, like being a bigoted asshole in online, call them out.
How about that? How about some just straight up decency? And if someone is being indecent, you don't ruin their life. You don't have them fired. You don't take away something just because they maybe had a bad day.
Yeah, don't get them fired or anything, but, like, having them muted is probably a good idea.
You walk away and you do what most people should do and pray that they'll be alright and that they'll be okay.
I don't think most people do that, but I get the sentiment, you know, where it's like, just hope the best for that person.
Right? Trash talking has been in competitive gaming. Fighting games is like shooting games, right? There's a lot of aggression, all that sort of stuff. And you can't sit there and tell people, hey, you can't say this if you yourself have said things before and put people down, right? You don't get that pass just because you're a lady, right?
Oh yeah, like, there's a lot of... let me call some people out. Not by name, but, like, there are definitely people in League of Legends who really like abusing the fact that they are gay to get away with some really bad shit in the game. And then, like, I've seen it happen to other YouTubers where, like, LGBTQ people will literally go on tirades against people and threaten to dox people and then say, you're homophobic. Like, I've seen it happen very recently. Stop that shit. Don't do that. Weaponizing identities is not something we should be doing.
Just saying. Right? So, for me personally, I don't like hearing people talk when I'm playing a fighting game.
Agreed. I don't like listening to people talk. Unless it's like couch co-op, then I enjoy it, because like obviously I want to play with this person.
I hate it. I get it, adding a report button to a fighting game is extremely double-edged, that's right. Because what are they gonna then report you for?
Well, the thing is, in games that are multiplayer, they usually have to specify a reason for the report. I think this used to be a thing in League where after a certain amount of reports, people would get banned, because it was just such a high volume of them. I don't think they do that anymore, and I don't think MK should do that either. But adding a reason or multiple reasons that you have to specify and explaining those reasons, much like League does, would be beneficial. Because then they can't report you for beating them, because that's stupid. And people usually don't do that. Like, having report tools, like, you have to use common sense in relation to them.
Huh? What then? Do you really think that just because someone throws out the F word, that somehow it's hateful?
Depends. I mean, who's using it? Because if it's coming from someone like you, Fate, and it's used hatefully, yeah, there's a problem there. And let's say it's coming from a gay person, then it's marginally more acceptable because that's their identity, and reclaiming it as they feel. It might work for them, doesn't work for me personally, doesn't work for other people, might work for others. It depends who is saying it and the context in which it's used.
Dude, it used to mean another meaning, right?
The F slur I don't think had other meanings. Gay certainly did, and it has a dual meaning in the dictionary that you were quoting earlier.
The words that the gay community have co-opted used to have original meanings. Gay was happy. The F word was a bunch of sticks.
I don't think that's true. I know in original English vernacular, it meant cigarettes. That's not really commonly used anymore.
It's not, my fault because somebody decides to change the meaning.
What's the excuse gonna be, though? Sorry, I was calling you a cigarette. Like, what?
They're really saying, hey, you're just a bunch of sticks.
Yeah, when are you ever saying that, especially knowing the modern context of that? Like, oh man, you're a bunch of sticks. Who's saying that?
And what about the gay people that call themselves each other that? What if they're saying it because they say it to other people? Should they be penalized too?
Once again, it depends, because it really depends on what people are comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with it being used towards me by anyone, regardless, so I make that, like, a clarified thing in places like Discord, where I'm like, hey, don't use this towards me, I do not appreciate it, please don't do that. And then, if people do, gone. I cut them off, because, like, you're just not respecting my own boundaries, why would I keep you around? And it goes the same way towards, like, using other slurs. If people are comfortable with them, it's whatever. If they're not, then respect that.
See what I'm saying? You gotta be really careful with this.
Although I do understand how a report button could be a double-edged sword, I think it's just that NRS would need a moderation team for that.
All I hear is trash talking, nothing new, look at COD. As a gay person, I thrive off of this. It's hilarious. I purposely put LGBT as my clan name in COD so they interact with me and I can get under their skin.
See, I will say, I've seen people do that. It is kind of funny. But, like, as long as we're not, like, hating on other people, like, that is kind of funny.
Dude, that's the best way. Right? What do you think? 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 That's the best way. Just antagonize people. I do it when I play fighting games, right? I'll antagonize through my actions. You know, when I fight.
I mean, from what I've seen of your content, you sure don't seem like you can, considering how often you like critiquing MK1's gameplay.
Right? Get in their head mentally. I don't need to say stuff. If you ever watch me, like, try and stream and talk, or do videos and talk while I'm actually trying to fight people, it's almost impossible. You can't do both.
Yeah, I'm somebody who's able to do that, but when I'm by myself, I usually tend not to. But, like, whenever I upgraded my streaming setup so I could actually do this, when I play, like, MK1 on stream, like, I will absolutely be more talkative, because there's an engagement, there's, like, something to happen. Whereas, like, MK1, I'm usually just muted on my own playing the game. Like, eating a snack, I'm like, nobody needs to hear me munching on a salad while I'm playing MK. No one needs to hear that. Like, what are they gonna say through the mic? Is that kale? I don't want them doing that shit.
You don't get rid of them, you just block and mute. No, that's not the solution. They have to have consequences about their behavior, but what about your consequences?
So I think he's gonna get into, like, what about your consequences? But, consequences about their action, I think, like, being perma-muted and online should be, like, the most severe. And then, like, never say that IRL to our faces. I doubt anyone actually would, because here's the thing. In fighting games, it does give you a level of cockiness and arrogance. I would know. I get that sometimes. Like, when I'm on a 400 combo streak with Baraka, you already know, like, I am on top of the world. I'm just like, no one can touch me right now. And then I jump in the air, and then, oopsies, I get 300 comboed. But, like, what do you mean consequences of their actions, though?
Here's a really good argument for the case of evil, when people go, why does God let evil exist? So God...
I'm not gonna touch this because, again, I'm not touching people's theology.
I want to you first. And you go, hang on a second, what? Whoa, dude, I haven't done anything evil, what are you talking about? He goes, no, but you're going to. Because this is going to happen in your life, this is going to happen, and eventually you've got to be really, really careful. Exist, despite the fact that God did not create it, is because it also shows us who is good and who is bad and who to avoid. Because if you keep trying to condemn people and keep trying to bring justice to everyone, eventually, and I don't mean like, you know, obviously criminals, like actual criminals, like saying the F word online, it's not a crime, right? Let's not get it twisted. Okay.
Oh, fun fact, I'm pretty sure in Brazil it is. Like, I saw somewhere that Brazil was banning the use of slurs, and it's actually, like, there's a penalty attached to it now.
Okay, nobody's perfect here. As I said, calling someone stupid could be harmful. Oh, sorry, hurtful. Oh, God. Right?
Yeah, again, it's just conversation with people. Like, just people establish their boundaries, and you can't, like, people who get mad over people assuming what they're comfortable with, I don't know, it's weird to me, because it's like, you never establish that boundary, so just express it, you know? Like, say, hey, I'm okay with this, I'm not okay with this, and then if that person respects it, great. If not, just get rid of them.
No, they would never say in real life to our faces. So would you say stupid to that person?
Oh, I do it all the time, unless they tell me not to.
Really? No, I don't. Right? And this is worrying. Should they keep being banned? Then social media and other games do a good work with this. Yeah, so you just, like, so they might have a bad day, and you just want to just take more things away from them because...
I don't think banning is necessarily the vibe, you know? I think if it's repeated and it's constant, sure. But I don't think it's the automatic answer, you know?
What? No? Maybe they would self-reflect on their behavior. Okay, so how do you feel about calling someone stupid? I just explained my story about my best friend.
But again, LOSTy's not going to know that if she wasn't told beforehand. Also, she wasn't addressing your friend. Like, if she came after your friend and said this, and having this context, then yeah, I understand that. Because then that would not be okay. Because then she would be consciously aware that what she's saying is intended to hurt somebody. This is not the case. You're using a what if statement on a completely different person.
It's like, this guy goes, this is not cool, it's okay to rage sometimes, but not hate on other players because you're losing. How do you know he's hating? Oh, that's right, because the media told you this stuff.
Or maybe because it's defined as hate speech. Like, I lose brain cells when people don't know how to actually construct arguments when discussing social issues. It's hard to watch sometimes.
Some people are so silly they can't even think for themselves. Yeah, I said it. Because they can't, right? Because they hear what the box tells them, and they go, oh, it must be hateful.
Okay, once again, so going back to the stupid argument you were using, like, if someone tells you it's harmful to them, then you respect it. Otherwise, that's considered hateful because you're just going after somebody. Like, it's really not that deep, I don't think. Maybe it's just me, I don't know.
Nobody has two brain cells to rub together half the time anyway. Right?
I don't know, your two seem to be absent. Like, especially ever since MK1 dropped, they've been on vacation.
I complained about that and posted clips to support the claims, but NRS just allows these losers to exist.
I will say, NRS has had a history of documented problems in places like Variety of their work environment, and the fact that they have said some very offensive shit before. So I don't know. I hope they're not like that anymore. I mean, they have a trans woman on the Combat Cast now, and they have, like, ever since she transitioned. We love Stephanie here, by the way. But, like, I really hope that if they actually had a ban system, that it would be used, like, correctly, and they would actually go after people that use hate speech. Like, because if you're able to have someone reported, then they would be able to listen to playback of what happened and determine the interaction. Because sometimes it's just, like, messing around, and then somebody reporting you, then it's like, well, what was going on there? But if it's a case of someone actually being hostile, then they would know. That's the thing. I don't know. I guess it would just depend on NRS's usage of it.
Yeah, they're allowed to exist. They pay for the product. They didn't pay and sign an agreement about their behavior.
Yes, they did. It's called a EULA, and it's literally presented to you at the beginning of the game. They absolutely did. I'm so sorry, Fate. It's in the EULA. Like, there are certain things you have to abide by, and when you hit the little A button to say, I accept these terms, that is what you were saying.
Are you going to police what they think, too? People in the comment trying to be like the bi guy in the big blog, freedom of speech. Well, it is freedom of speech, bro. It is.
Yeah, freedom of speech is applicable to companies that say that, but because privately owned companies are often the creators of video games, they're able to make their own rules on that. Freedom of speech is not unanimous to all of those things.
It's as simple as that, right? You're not meant to like everything. It's just how it is.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But once again, companies can absolutely take action against that if in their privacy policy that protects them from things like this, they say you can't use hate speech against people. It's why people in League constantly get called out for hate speech and reported and banned. It's because in their EULA, they say that you can't do that.
Okay. Yes, most of this stuff, if you said this stuff in real life, you'll get your head slapped in. including the bullies of the people that are trying to tell you what you say and what you can't do, or getting you fired from your job because they decide to dig up some old ass tweet and claim that you are hateful, and then
Yeah, once it, like, people who do that shit, I don't agree with it. Like, it depends on the recency and the severity. Because, like, if you're digging up tweets from 2014 of somebody saying a slur, and they were, like, 12, like, they're in their 20s now, and if they've shown signs of change, like, why are you doing that? Like, that's so dumb. People change, people evolve, people learn. Like, that's dumb. But saying this is the case for everyone is absolutely stupid.
ruin your entire life. Yeah. The best thing you can do with these people is walk away. Okay? Mute them and walk away. Be a grown adult. You all need to shut your soft asses up. The games have always been toxic. It's competitive. There's always trash talking part of the game.
Yeah, trash talk has always been fine. Slurs haven't.
Yeah, do you people say anything about when they're like yelling and screaming in other people's faces at Evo? You know, they're standing literally there screaming and yelling at them and stuff like that.
I don't know, are they saying slurs? Like, are they saying slurs to one another? I don't remember that ever being documented.
Or do you sit there and go, yay? Shut up.
Trash talk is fine. Hate speech is not.
You know, again, double standard. It's always a double standard with these sorts of people.
It's not a double standard, it's just don't say slurs in chat.
Right? You have to be so careful with this sort of stuff. You have to be.
You really don't, you just have to not say slurs. Like, I didn't know it was that hard for people to just not say slurs.
Extremely careful. Anyway, catch you next time.
Okay. Oh my god. Alright. So that was fun. I had a great time. Yeah, that was something. So, what we've learned from this is, report systems should be a thing, but not too much, because if it is, then people can't say slurs, and people should be able to say slurs and only be reported if they're doxing people. I guess that's what I took from it. How's it going? I'm trying my best here. Yeah, trying my best over here. But yeah, so, I don't know, that video felt really, really odd to me, because all it really did for me was just kind of show that, like, Fate just doesn't want consequences for people who are actually using hate speech, which is a punishable offense in many other games. And then also saying that there shouldn't be consequences for actions in a EULA that you have to sign, like, when you play the game. Like, the EULAs in video games are there for a reason. You are usually supposed to read over them because if you break them, then you can be banned. It's why companies are protected from things like freedom of speech. It's for that reason. It's because they have EULAs that you sign, like, saying, if I do this, this is the outcome that will happen. IDK, what just happened? It was a lot. Like, summary of what we talked about so far is just Fate made a video talking about LOSTy's take on whether or not MK1 should have a report system, and the takes in it just came off like Fate just didn't want consequences for people saying, like, slurs in chat, which is wild. So yeah. Now, what was the next thing? Oh, let's talk about the Skullgirls video a little bit. So, I'm really, really excited about part 2. So, for those of you who don't know, originally, the Skullgirls video was going to be over 30 minutes long. It was going to be the longest scripted video I've ever made, and I cut it in half because So, fun fact, I went on vacation last week, and I was out of town and had to record the second half of the audio for the Skullgirls video in Florida, but my audio came back sounding insanely off. Like, the quality was not there. So I ended up just shelving it and deciding I would have to re-record when I got home. I got home Sunday, and the video went up last night. So I ended up just having to pick either have me delay the video and release the full 30-minute thing, or I split it into 2 parts, drop the first 15-16 minutes last night, and then drop the rest later this week, which is what I ended up going with. Like, I put it on my community tab and everything. Yeah. So that's what we ended up with. Something I wanted to actually talk about a little bit is, so while I was in Florida, when I was on vacation, a segment I recorded for about 3 minutes that I realized I had to add in was explaining how, like, why Skullgirls as characters took a lot longer than the characters of them's fighting herds. And the reason for that is because, Skullgirls' art style kind of bit itself in the ass in recent times. Because the game is fucking gorgeous. Like, we gotta start there. Skullgirls is gorgeous. It's some of the best animation I've ever seen. The problem is the characters also have, like, 1,000+ sprites each. And that becomes an issue considering, like, how much work they had to put into these individual characters. And it's where Skullgirls' own format kind of bites itself in the ass. And it's why it should have gotten a sequel. Because if Skullgirls didn't continue on with Second Encore, we probably wouldn't wait as long for characters because it would be structured differently. Like, they started the original game back in 2008, and it's 2023, and they're still going. And they're supposed to go until 2024 at least. And it's rumored, I was talking with people in the Skullgirls server, there's a season 2 most likely happening. So, like, unless something batshit happens, there's going to be a season 2. I think they needed to do Skullgirls 2 in 2020 instead of starting season 1. Because their own stylized choices are biting them in the ass with their release times. And it's not the most sustainable for fighting games because a lot of people, a lot of us do have a hunger for new content in the FGC, and it's very hard to satisfy because fighting games have to look good, sound good, feel good, and play casually and competitively really well. And that's a tough balancing act. So throwing in intensely hard animation that, while it looks gorgeous, is time-consuming, it's a detriment to the game. Because I remember looking back at, like, the Steam metrics for Skullgirls, their spikes happen few and far between for characters. And when they happen, like, I think Umbrella had one, and then Annie had a slight one as well, they would jump by, like, 30% in players and then immediately fall off for 7 months straight. And it's not the most sustainable system. Wait, it was a Fate video, gotcha. Yeah, I heard it was worse than the one that I initially talked about last time, and I was like, might as well discuss it in a stream. So that was part of today's stream, and then the rest is talking about other FGC nonsense. But yeah, it was worse. I don't really know how we get worse from here, unless some, like, wild shit comes out, or if Fate actually responds to me. But, I mean, I don't think he will, honestly, because I remember he commented on my video, like, something, like, interesting, and then I was just like, okay. Like, yeah. It's very much a moral disagreement for me, so that's why I talk about it. Sonic Fox Waka Flocka was wild. Wait, what was that? Did I miss something? Because I absolutely could have missed something here. What? Okay, now I have to do research. Hang on. Sonic Fox Waka Flocka. Did I miss... What happened? Oh, Waka Flocka Flame and Sonic Fox played each other in MK for $10,000? While blindfolded. That's fucking wild. I will say, Sonic Fox is hard to beat. Genuinely, like, until he retires, I don't think there's gonna be a new best player, honestly. Oh my god. their little Twitter beef, too. I love this shit. Like, it's clear that, like, it's just, like, fun shit. Yeah. Beats Waka Flocka Flame for $10,000. Blindfolded. Who was he playing? Is he playing Kenshi? No. Oh, no, he was. Okay, he was playing Kenshi, and Waka was playing Baraka. Waka could not rep for the Baraka mains. That's so sad. 10-0 while blindfolded is asinine to me. I'd retire. Oh, I would too. You will never fucking catch me playing against Sonic Fox. I would feel so... I would be embarrassed. Like, oh my god. That's so wild. But it seemed like it was all in good fun, so... That's good, you know? Yeah, that's always fun. That's so wild. Also, so real quick, let's talk about them fighting herds for a second. So talking about that the Nidra stuff for a sec. So, the Nidra statement got released on, like, while I was making the video, and then last night, an hour before, I had to put it in. So, here's what I think the actual timeline is going to look like now. Because I think Them's Fightin' Herds Season 1 is going to be done before the first half of 2024 is done, and hopefully Skullgirls Season 1 will also be done by that point. I would be shocked if it wasn't. And then they're going to start on everything else, and hopefully they, like, have a more concrete timeline that time around. That'd be great. Because we were supposed to be done, like, over a year ago with Skullgirls Season 1 by now. And, yeah, like, hopefully Them's Fightin' Herds doesn't suffer the same fate. But it kind of bit a lot of my argument in the ass. But, I am really happy that, TFH is getting patched, because, like, ooh, I just burped. Excuse me. But I mentioned in the video, I was like, thank God I can't be, like, body slammed by Texas twice and then lose. Because the thing about Street Fighter, when, like, Zangief is able to do that, at least it's balanced by meters and shit. Like, it's a little harder to justify it for Them's Fightin' Herds. Yeah. Because I will also say this, Skullgirls is definitely better with, like, aesthetic in comparison to Them's Fightin' Herds. Them's Fightin' Herds just relies on its fighters for most of its gimmick, which isn't a bad thing, because a horse fighting game is absolutely wild, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, like... it's like, you can only rely on the gimmick for so long. Which, that could be a concern. Because it's like, how much longer can they really go with that? So yeah, that's where I'm at on that. But I will say, Nidra's a very cool character. I'm very excited to play her when she comes out, like, in a few months. Oh man, January's gonna be packed, now that I think about it, because we got Tekken 8, we got Nidra, we got... Wasn't there an event going on? There might be an event, I don't know. We're supposed to get, who is it? We're supposed to get Akuma around then for Street Fighter, right? Because Ed is in November, and then I think Akuma's in January? January or February, something like that. But he's gonna be coming soon, which I'm very excited for. I might do a tier list of Street Fighter characters I want to return as DLC, because there's a fuck ton of them, and I really want to talk about it. Like, you want to know who I want to return? I want Ingrid back. Like, Ingrid's been gone for, like, decades. Bring her back. Like, fuck around and find out. I also really want Sea Viper, Poison. I think Nikali could get another chance. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get, like, some cool characters for Season 2. Sakura is probably gonna come back as well, if I had to guess. But if there's anyone I really want, it's fucking Poison. I want Poison back so bad. She's so cool. And I think, like, her neon, like, hair is really gonna go with, like, the sort of neon vibe that Street Fighter 6 is going for. So I think she's a perfect fit, honestly. I really hope they bring her back. Also, Karin. I would love to see Karin. So, yeah. Yeah, the Sonic... I'm still not over the Sonic Fox shit. Hello. Hi. Welcome in. Yeah, what other shit's gone down? Oh, Aki comes out. She come out tomorrow? Oh, shit. Yeah, I think Aki's out tomorrow. Damn. Aki's been, like, my most hyped character for Street Fighter. Like, I liked that Rashid was coming back. Aki had me fucking floored. Like, and also, I do love Aki's VA, because she did Lulu in League of Legends. Like, such a nice person, too. And I remember they posted, they were like, watch Aki's VA play Street Fighter 6, and everybody's like, she kinda bad, though. I was like, oh, she absolutely is. Like, she's killing it. Like, if you're gonna show up, like, as a VA to play your own character, you better be dressed to kill. Especially when your character is Aki. Like, you gotta come fucking ready. Like, straight up. You just have to. Like, what other option is there? Like, fuck around and just, like, show up in sweatpants? No, it's fucking Aki. You gotta bring it. Alright, Loki, I'm about to run to the bathroom before we continue our little discussions for a little longer. Oh, you guys get to see my BRB screen. I don't know if I used this yet. Okay, here you go. I'll be back in a couple minutes, y'all. Alright, we're back, bitches, we are back. Stream's probably not gonna go too much longer. I had to go let my dog out and flip my laundry. And use the bathroom, but like, you know, just get it all done real quick. We've been streaming for like over an hour. So it's always good to take a lap, you know? Take a walk. So yeah, that's that on that. But yeah, I might post a community tab for streams next week. Just asking you guys, like, what do you guys want to see for tier lists? Because I really like making them. They're so fun. Like, I get to be a massive bitch in tier maker and, like, have people debate my takes. And it's fun. I really like when people input their takes on it. Like, when people are debating over Street Fighter 3 in my comments, I was like, yeah, no, I can see that, but, like, here's XYZ, you know? Those arguments are always fun to me. Sort of just explaining the logic of different things. But yeah, another thing I want to show you guys, fun little announcement. I have my Skullgirls keyframes ready. So I was originally gonna put them in the part 1, but I didn't put them in yet because they weren't quite ready. They are done now. So here, I'll see if I can add them in. Hopefully I can. Let me see. I don't know if I can add all of these in at once. I might only be able to do... Yeah, I think I can only do one at a time. Wow. Wow, it's me. There he is. There's our guy. So, this is the Skullgirls look. Yeah. This is fun. Wait, can you guys see it? Yeah. Yeah, I think you guys can see it. Okay. It's showing up in my OBS, so we'll assume it's fine. So here's our guy. He's pretty cool. So let me walk you guys through the outfit a little bit. Because there's a lot of like little niche Skullgirls video. Look, I'm just watching with popcorn how Skullgirls unfolds right now. Oh no, I think we all are. Like, it's kind of fun reporting on it from the sidelines, like sort of just seeing how it plays out. Because I caught a lot of heat for my censorship video, but now that things have kind of winded down, it's kind of nice to see, like, everybody sort of looking at it with a better take, you know? Now that we've acknowledged, like, the Philia shit was weird, we acknowledge, like, why things were censored and for what reason, like, it's a little bit easier to see, like, the take on everything now. Okay, so let's zoom in on our guy here. Alright, we'll start with the shoes. So, shoes. Y'all remember that shit? I was, like, 1 when shoes came out. Wow. Okay, so we got the shoes. So, these are inspired by Squiggly, actually. Like, she has little, are they heels? I think they're heels. They're heels or they're boots. But she has, like, little candy cane stripes. I threw that in there. So then we get to the knee pad. So the knee pad is inspired by Sarabella. I think it's on her shirt. It's her shirt or, like, her sleeves or something. But she has, like, little, orange diamonds. And I was like, oh, what if I just use that for the knee pad, because I didn't really know what to do for it originally, because originally this was gonna be the base outfit is inspired by Philia, like the black bottoms and then the white button-up shirt. That was inspired by Philia, and I was originally gonna do Samson as my character's hair, and then I just could not figure it out, like how to implement cat ears and a Samson. Like, that was gonna be a little too hard. Samson? Did I just say Samson? It's Samson, no P. Okay, I have to zoom in for this because there's a couple of little niche things. I kind of look like a flight attendant. All right. So we got Annie the Star Girl on my right shoulder here, and then I took like Annie's base outfit color for the tie and for the wristbands. The gloves are giving a little bit of Black Dahlia core. And then I just have, like, a little skull on the other one, because I was like, I don't want to do 2 stars. I feel like I pulled the tie from somewhere. I do not remember where. But yeah, the shirt is Philly inspired. And then we get to me. It's my face. Oh my god. My very chibi core face. Nothing new really here. This hair is inspired by Annie though. I stole her bangs and then redid them in the style of my hair. And then I still wanted to incorporate Samson, like, one way or another. So I made, like, the highlights and the hair the same color as Samson, and then the ears and stuff were the same color as Samson as well. Cause like I couldn't make my hair into Samson, so I was like, let me appreciate him like one way or another. All right, let me downsize this a little bit so you could see the little guy. The little guy must be Lil again. I like size this thing up so much. Oh my god. There we go. All right. There's our guy. Here he is in all his glory. So yeah, you'll be seeing this outfit probably a lot more. I'm working on a little teaser image for it for Instagram for everybody who didn't see this live. So if you saw this, no you didn't. Like you haven't seen it yet, because I have to. The teaser art is also my outro art. So whenever I do like my shorter form videos, I have like my little outro arts. Like I have them for my Street Fighter look, I have them for my Red Rose look, and then I'll have one for my Skullgirls look, and then after this, I'm doing another fighting game that I talk about a lot. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's gonna be my next outfit. So, but yeah, so that outfit will be coming like next month. But yeah, so we finally have our skull boy. So yeah, we'll set him in the corner. I think we could put him by like the bulletin maybe. We'll put him on the bulletin board. Put him on a piece of paper. A little side note in the corner. Right next to a little sticky note. Can we rotate this? I don't think we can. I am a teenager who has like the skills in OBS of a boomer. I am not great at this stuff, y'all. Okay, yeah. There he is. He's our little footnote of the day. But yeah, so now that we saw that, I'm not too far along in the sketch for the teaser image, but you guys will probably see it most likely Thursday, if I had to guess. And then Thursday, the first half of my character lore is coming out to the public, and then I'm gonna be dropping the last half of it on my Patreon. So if you want to see it early, you can. $5 a month on there. If not, you just wait a month. Don't worry. A month feels like forever, but then you just see it one day on your timeline. You're like, oh. So yeah, my lore parts 1 and 2 are gonna be dropping, which is actually it's how I got all of my images that you see for like my starting soon, my ending screen. All of those are part of the story. So some of them are in part 2, and then some of them are going to be in part 1, which the rest of y'all will see on Thursday. And then I have like my first couple chapters of my novel coming out soon. That'll be on Patreon for the masses. And then there's a couple of other like little short stories I'm working on. So I'm really excited about all that. And then as far as videos are concerned, I'm iffy on what video to do next. I'm thinking of doing a video on Lucky Chloe, honestly. She is such an anomaly in this game, and I really want to talk about her. Because honestly, Lucky Chloe is to Tekken what guest characters are to Mortal Kombat. They are unbelievably polarizing, and either side is very passionate in their hatred or love. Speaking of guest characters, I'm also working on a video about the guest characters of Mortal Kombat and why they need to be done away with or redone. Because, to summarize my arguments there, Mortal Kombat has this problem. Someone described it in a tweet. Mortal Kombat is Smash Bros, but for everyone's dads. And it's funny, my dad was playing MK11. Like a few days before MK1 came out. Like, he hadn't played it in a while, and funnily enough, he was my introduction to MK. So I was like, Dad, you gotta come play it. And so then he came and played it while I was trying to teach my brother how to play. And he's like, whoa, they have RoboCop in this one? I'm like, No one likes him. Nobody fucking likes RoboCop. Same with Rambo. Nobody gives a shit. And the people who do, they're all 80s kids, usually. Which is a lot of the execs at NRS. They're all, like, 80s and 90s people. And they really have a fond appreciation of, like, older pop culture, which I always love. But also, like, could we get some modern stuff, please? Also, it's been, like, 12 years of guest characters. We've had, like, no women, but everybody wants some. Like, if we got Lara Croft, oh my god. Like, could you imagine if we got, like, Lara Croft, if we got, like, Harley Quinn, Gogo Yubari, anyone from Kill Bill, really, that would be kind of iconic. Like, we got, oh my god, I have someone in my brain. Buffy, we got Buffy. There's so many great icons, but I think they're a little bit past, like, the area they try to pull from. Like, I heard the rumors that Conan the Barbarian was on there. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, don't get me wrong, he sounds cool, but, like, give us some more modern references, you know? Like, I think it'd be better. And, the Mortal Kombat picks from that side, though, they sound really good. Like, I'll give y'all a spoiler warning, because I'm gonna talk about the DLC, data mine leaks. So, if you don't want to be spoiled of who's supposed to be in it, you can close your eyes or mute it or whatever. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now that they're gone. Let's talk about it. So, first of all, Jade mains, we can rejoice. She is supposed to be there, which makes me extremely happy. So, already, massive dove. Like, so we're supposed to get Jade. Unsure when, leaning towards Combat Pack 2, though, not Aftermath. So, that could be something. So then, let me see. I'm trying to find the full list so I don't sound silly. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. But while we talk about it, Cyrax and Sector are also supposed to be in it. So that's going to be fun. I think they had intros that were data mined for Cyrax, Sector, and Noob. Which, again, if all of this is true, this is the best MK roster ever. Like, that would be amazing. Like, imagine that shit. That would be so wild. Where is the goddamn leak? I literally can't find it. Yeah, this is wild. I thought I would have found it by now. Let me just go leak. I'm searching for it on the MK Leak subreddit. Because it's somewhere. It is absolutely somewhere. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of older ones on here. Where is it? I literally can't find it. This is so sad. Not me acting like, so there's T, and then I just can't find it. That's so embarrassing. Yeah, I'm seeing, like, all the ones that are older. Here, let me sort by new. Might be better. So apparently it is supposed to be, like, a Lin Kuei expansion. Because it's Cyrax, Sector, Noob. Like, it's very much leaning towards, like, Cyber Initiative, Noob Story, like, all that. But yeah, so Thinny said, for story, Noob, Sector, and female Cyrax, which I'm actually kind of down with female Cyrax, I'm not gonna lie. That could be kind of cool. I guess I would just have to be able to see. So then let's see. We have Combat Pack 2, Jade, Cassie Cage, which already banger entries. Like, immediately banger entries. Kung Jin, Conan the Barbarian, T-1000, and Ghostface. So I hate every single one of the guest characters. Kung Jin, I think, deserves another shot. Honestly, I think he deserves it. Like, he got one shot in MKX. They did nothing with him. And it's like, we kind of want him back, honestly. Like, he kind of deserves another chance. And then it was... So here's the thing. Conan, no. Like, literally not a great choice in my opinion. I would have wanted, like, a more modern pop culture reference. I know we got, like, characters like Homelander and Peacemaker. Nobody was asking for Peacemaker. Absolutely no one. T-1000, bad. No. Why did they do that? That is awful. I just, like, knocked over my drawing tablet pen. Like, why would they do that? Like, that's so shitty. They just did Terminator last game. Why would they do another one? Like, what the hell? Like, especially when they have a whole roster of characters. The two that I've seen after these leaks that everybody has been gunning for are Serena and Kintaro. And I agree with both for different reasons. I agree with Serena because her cameo was unbelievably good and showed her potential. Kintaro is very much the opposite, where I'm like, this is gonna be another 3D era situation where I'm like, I want to see what they fucking do. Like, go crazy with Kintaro. Like, go full out. Like, give us some crazy shit. And they obviously cared about him enough to put him in Shang Tsung's Fatality in MK11, so I think he's gonna be a cameo at least. I think he'll be cameo at least. But I want a playable Kintaro, because we also have no Shokan. Like, we have Netherrealm characters, and, like, we have demons. So Serena may be cleared for that reason. But there are no Shokans. There's Goro, but he's a cameo. Like, if we got Kintaro, that would be massive. But yeah, people are saying, like, Doomslayer, Sweet Tooth, would be decent ones. I'm not a huge fan of Ghostface, honestly. Like, no. Like, I'm so not down with it. There's so many better options. Like, literally, I'm gonna go back to it. If we fucking got Gogo Yubari, I'd lose my shit. It'd be the one time I'd be like, fuck it. Guest characters are great. They're amazing, man. Like, Kill Bill was such a staple of, like, action pop culture. That's a great area to tap into. And they just haven't. And the fact that they repeated Joker, too, and now they're repeating Terminator, I'm just like, for what purpose? For who? For what? For where? For why? And I feel like Conan is going to be the lowest played character of MK1, because Rambo, I think, was lowest last time, no? Like, it's not good. Yeah, like, I would put Serena and Kintaro in here. I just don't, like, I would obviously swap them for guest characters, but I just don't know how else to really put them in. But, like, I'm excited to have Cassie back. And Jade, obviously, she was my main MK11, so having her back is always welcome. Yeah, I think that's everything I really wanted to cover in the stream. We talked about Fate shenanigans with Losty. We talked about Nidra a little bit. Talked about Skullgirls. We talked about my new outfit. We talked about what else? We talked about Aki a little bit. All the data mines from Thinny. There's so fucking many. And guest characters a little bit. But yeah, and I think that's gonna do it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know I certainly did. And yeah, thanks for popping in, hanging out. We're gonna be watching the MKX story tomorrow night. Okay, to be fair, it's one of the better ones. It's one of the better ones. MK11 hurts my soul a little bit. MK1, fun fact about the MK1 story, I literally clicked through it all to get the achievements. I did not watch shit. I picked Baraka as my final fighter. I don't know what the fuck that was. I literally just clicked through all that shit. Because I want to watch it live and I don't want to, like, spoil myself. Because everything else, like, I already know. MK1, we can at least make it, like, shocking. There's gonna be, like, at least, I think, like, 8 more parts of me reacting to MK stories on here. Because I'm doing 2 for MKX. We're doing 3 for MK11 because of Aftermath. We're probably doing 3 for Mortal Kombat 1. Because apparently it's, like, 5 fucking hours. Who got time? Because I know I don't. Especially with how much I run my mouth about this. Like, who the fuck got time? I know it's not me. So yeah, we'll look into that, and then probably after that, I kind of want to go back and do Street Fighter Vs because I have a lot of thoughts on that game. So maybe we'll do more of these story streams. I don't know. We'll probably be done with them by the end of the year, though. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it from me today. Thanks for stopping in, everybody, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Goodbye, everybody.